country.
Okay.
At that time, for the next 20 years, there wasn't anyone bigger. And part of the reason of building it, there was a partnership with the IHAA, the High School Association here in town, that they wanted a big venue in Butler. We agreed to put it on our campus and share it with the High School Association. So they had their playoffs, state playoffs here every year up until, it's down here somewhere, but up until probably the mid-70s or so. And then they started moving it somewhere else because this place wasn't big enough. But at the time when this place was built, it seated 15,000 people. And you'll hear stories of people, I used to come here in the 40s and 50s, and there was more than 15,000 people here. Well, there's 15,000 seats. There's probably standing room for maybe 1,000 more.
So how did it get shorter? Like
What's that?
How did the arena get shorter? Like now it seats like 90.
Okay, so here's what
9,100.
When it was built in 1928, it was 15,000.
Yeah.
From 1928, and then when Barry came in, Barry and I played together. I was football, he was basketball. But we were here at the same time. He was 2 years older than me. He left after graduation. He came back in 1989. And the story goes, and there's a picture in here of him with Hinkle. They were drawing plans for the renovation. So when Barry was being hired, some of his demands, he was just a young punk coach. And we hired him, and the president saw a vision. They said, we can make this program, we can make this university, put them on the map by making basketball successful. So Barry had a vision. What would you do if you were the coach here? You know what we need to do? We need to put some chair back seats in here. We need to do a locker room, because the locker room is god awful. It's down below, out by the cage.
Okay.
Where Jen Johnson said. It was down there, so teams, home and visitors, would have to go all the way down there to get dressed and halftime and before the game and all that. So Barry said, we need to build a locker room, because before 1989, where those lockers are now, that was all dirt. That was underneath the bleachers. It was all dirt, and they had PE would have an arrow shooting stuff and some show them shot put and all that kind of stuff. So why did they go from 15,000? Because you can see when they first built it, see the bleacher boards up top there and over there?
Yeah.
The whole arena was that, bleacher boards. So all along here was all benches. All wooden benches here. So when Barry came in here, he convinced them to spend some money, about $1 million, and we took out all the bleacher boards in the lower section only. Not the mid. The mid were still bleacher boards. So the lower section we put, well, obviously now these take up more room.
Yeah.
So when we replaced the boards and put it in here, we went from 15,000 down to 10,000. Okay? That was in '89. Well, 4 years ago, we completed another renovation, and we put chair backs in the middle section, and that's what brought it from 10,000 to 9,100, where it is now. So it was the renovation plus the ADA, the handicap. We never used to have a handicap seating, so that made it more spacious. And so basically, what reduced the seating was bigger seats.
Yeah. Because these used to be benches, right?
All this used to be wooden benches.
Even 4 years ago, right?
No. 4 years ago, the lower section. See where it starts, 205, 204?
Yeah.
That was bleacher boards.
Okay.
But in '89, the first renovation, the whole lower section were seats like this.
Okay.
Yeah. Not necessarily padded.
Yeah.
Plastic, but they were still chaired back with an arm on it. Yeah. So that's the seating. And I tell people, so this is the original floor.
Right.
It used to be in the third.
When
it was first built in 1928, the court went this way.
Yeah, right.
And do you know why they changed it? It was about 5 years later in 1933, only because people started to realize we played a lot of day games. So when they were dribbling down the court, they'd shoot it, and the sun was coming in. It was kind of like that, combined with we had more seats in the end zone, more spectators watching the games, and not many here. So it's like, wait, the sun coming in, plus, you know, the better seats are in the end zone, which you don't want.
Right.
So they switched it around. Hey, step. So in 1933, 5 years after it was built, they switched it here.
Okay.
This place is really, truly it's historic in a lot of ways, but not just for basketball. We used to hold races in here, track meets, where they would take up the floor. You can see how the floor is laid. It's in sections, probably about 5 feet by 6 feet sections. It's almost like a puzzle.
Yeah.
They haven't taken it up probably since the 50s, but before the 50s, from 1928 to about the 50s, they would take this thing up for different occasions. Circuses, bike races, track meets, other events like that. They would take it up piece by piece, store it somewhere, and then put it back. But it hasn't been up in probably 70 years. But it is the original floor. You know, we've stripped it, painted it, shellacked it, stripped it, painted, shellacked it many, many times. Scoreboard is obviously new 4 years ago.
Yep.
Windows are new 4 years ago, but you wouldn't know it because we couldn't change the look of them.
Okay.
The ceiling, we haven't changed anything. I don't know, about 10 years ago we put those baffling things in for soundproofing.
Okay.
So, yeah. You know, some people say when we renovated 4 years ago, we got finished 4 years ago, people said, when you renovate this place, you know, you're not going to change the charm and the history and the feel. We said no, but we're going to upgrade it, put new seats in, we do that. We didn't change the court. When people come in here, I remember opening night, after we renovated, people came in here just anxious to see all the upgrades, and they were looking around like, you really didn't change it. It's newer, but, and people were like, you guys did a good job of keeping the feel the same. Now, do you remember, were you here when we had the bleacher boards in the middle section? Were you being recruited?
I was being recruited, yeah.
Did you remember
Yeah, I remember that.
The old seats and all that?
Because I sat up here on my visit one time.
Yeah. So you would have seen the middle section being similar to the boards up there in the top section.
Yeah, I remember that.
Then what I tell people, and then I'll show people. You can get some facts and figures here.
Yeah.
You know, capacity and how many acres, how many stories, all this stuff and pictures and stuff. This is the way it is now. That's the way it was.
Okay.
Some more facts about Hinkle if you need those.
Yeah.
What I'll tell people is, you know, this is more than a basketball arena. We've had 6, and there's 2 samples. We've had 6 presidents speak here. There's the indoor track meet right there. You ever heard of Jesse Owens?
Yeah.
He used to play at Ohio State, track guy. He set a world record in here in the 1930s. We used to have a bike race. We would take up, you can see the court is taken up. Bike races, high school, we still held graduation in here every year. During World War II, we housed some military here throughout the arena.
Are you getting a tour of Hinkle Fieldhouse today?
Interviewing right now.
I have a question.
Yeah.
Who is going to be on the court with you? Just mom and dad?
I think my brother.
And your brother? What's your brother's name?
Cameron.
Cameron? Okay. No grandpa, anything like that? Girlfriend, nothing?
No.
Here's the plaque. This used to be hanging on a wall down there before the renovation, but this is the kind of the plate, the dedication, the first game in here we played Notre Dame.
Okay.
Everything you want to know, one of your questions about the Hoosiers.
Yeah.
Let me tell you a story. You wouldn't. What happened? I was here. I was the assistant football coach, and when they shot this in '85, I think it was. Yeah, it was in '86 the movie came out, but in '85 they started shooting this thing. I was there at that scene when remember that scene?
Yeah,
When they did the tape measure.
Yep.
I was right about here when they shot that scene. Here's what happened. There, in 1985, there was this producer, the Hollywood people came to the athletic director at the time. He was also the football coach. And they said, hey, we're from Hollywood. We're going to make this movie about the Milan Miracle. We'd like to shoot some scenes in here. We need the court and we need a locker room. And, can we do that? And he said, and his comment to some of his assistant ADs was, what the hell? This low-budget movie's going to come in here. They want to take over our field house to shoot. They're going to inconvenience us, and they're going to pay us to use our space. So he said, okay, let's accommodate him. Well, he wasn't real optimistic, and then the movie turns into one of the biggest movies of all time. I'll show you where the locker room scene, the volleyball. You ever been down there?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's where that locker room scene was. And remember 4 or 5 years ago, when we played Gonzaga, you weren't here yet, right?
No.
College game day, you heard about that one? Roosevelt Jones hit the second shot, won the game. They did college game day with Digger and the group. Opened up the show. It was in January. Here we are live from Hinkle Fieldhouse, college game day, and they had Brad on the set. He was the coach at the time. And they opened up the show from that locker room down in there. But yeah, at the time, we closed the arena so they could do all this, but they let the staff walk around as long as they stayed out of the way. But I watched that scene as it was being filmed. Here's some more stats. If you need facts and figures. Stop me all the way. There's something you want me to touch on more. But,
Okay.
This is our academic. All American stuff. Particular last game was in 1970. The story about him, he was born in 1989. No, 1889. Well, at the time, the university had a mandatory, for any employee worked to, they had a mandatory retirement date at age 70. Well, Henkel never showed him his driver's license or whatever. They thought he was born in 1900. So actually, he coached until he was 71 years old. They found out later that he was born in 1898. 1899.
Okay.
And so he worked until he was 71. They thought he was only 70. But anyway.
When he retired, wasn't he still around, just working around here?
Yeah, he retired in 70, and then the president hired him as a special assistant to kind of be kind of a marketing, or not real marketing, a PR guy. And they gave him an office on campus, but he really didn't have a job.
Yeah,
it was more or less like, hey, you want to meet Tony Henkel? A longtime coach named after this building there. Here he is. He has an office right down here. They would bring him in. He really had nothing to do, but just kind of a PR thing. This is the guy who followed him, his basketball coach, George Theophanis. And then these are two brothers that went to Butler, and Butler was so special, but that's who recruited Barry here at Butler.
Okay.
Back in Barry came here in 73-ish. No, Barry came in here like 75. And that's who recruited Barry here. Oh, yeah.
How you doing?
Good luck tomorrow.
You're welcome.
Thanks. I'll go ahead.
He sees Tyler at the JCC all the time and always wonders where you. Say hi? You give him a big high five? Give him a high five.
Originally Wisconsin, but we both went to Buffalo.
All right. You want to get in the pic? All right. Cheese. Are you in the Butler class right now? The Hinkle class?
No, I'm just doing an interview.
No, just have got a project.
Okay, cool. See you guys.
That tells you, the renaming of it. Here's what happened. I'll tell you a little backstory on this. And I was my football coach here, Bill Sylvester, who was the AD, but he was an assistant coach under Hinkle too. But he tells the story here. In 1966, and really earlier, about a year before that, the Board of Trustees on campus were thinking, you know what, this Tony Hinkle guy, he's been here at that point, probably 40 years coaching. He's done so many good things. He's a public figure. What can we do to recognize him? He was still working. And so they went back and forth, can we buy him a car? Can we name this after him? Can we do this? How can we honor him? So the Board of Trustees came up with a lot of different ways, but they thought, this way, let's name this building after him. So they were in a meeting. Hank was coaching football down by the track, and all of a sudden, the president and the Board of Trustees, one of the members, got in their car, drove all the way down by the football field. Hinkle was coaching. It was like 3 in the afternoon. He saw a car pull up kind of by the baseball field, and it was the president. So they kind of waved him down to come over to the field. So he went to his assistant and said, "Hey, the president's pulling up in a car. I guess I got to go talk to him. Why don't you conduct practice while I'm gone?" So he went over and talked to him, and he said, "Coach Hinkle, we've been thinking about ways to honor you. We want to name the field house after you. We, as in the Board of Trustees, president, and so on." And Hinkle being, that's a very nice gesture, but you don't need to do that. We got more important things to do, and they said, no, we're not going to take no for an answer. We're going to do it, and all that. And so I guess they talked for a couple more minutes. Hinkle then said goodbye. He went back to coaching, and the coach said, what did they want? I don't know. They want to name the building after me, I guess. And so that the rest is history. But he was very unassuming, very low key.
Yeah.
All of this underneath part was kind of dirt as well. They used to have a pitching mound for the baseball players in the off season, like in the winter when they couldn't get outside.
Yeah.
They would have dirt. They would do a mound, and they'd have guys throwing it underneath here. So this has come a long, long way. That garage door, when you've seen the movie, that was where one of the scenes was shot. In the movie Hoosiers, when they came into that what was called Butler Fieldhouse at the time. They said, let's go, and they had their gym bags, and the coaches and all the players came in. That's where they came in there. What makes it all historic here? Christmas Attic. First African American school to win a state championship in basketball. They did it here in this building. Christmas Attic, you've heard of Oscar Robertson.
Yeah.
That's where he went to school.
Yeah. Right downtown, isn't it? Yeah.
Yep. On the near west side. Butler Bowl, the football stadium was built at the same time in 1928, and it was, you can see, it wasn't a complete bowl, but we didn't have any seats from here all the way to about here. That was just grass.
So I see the 20,000.
Yeah.
Wow. And that was all seats.
That was all seating, and then in about the 1950s, they excavated this and put an amphitheater there. You probably don't. They tore that out about 15 years ago. But there was an amphitheater there where we used to have graduation. There were concerts, stuff like here, a stage overlooking here. It was kind of neat. And then it kind of got dilapidated and outdated, and they tore it down. And this is where the housing village is right now.
Yeah.
They tore all this down. They tore that down and made the dorm. And that dorm's been there 12 years. The village.
Maybe.
This talks about the 6 presidents' visits. So you can get a lot of information just off of that thing I sent you.
Yeah.
The barracks, the army was housed here. They bring in a lot of makeshift bunk beds throughout the whole building, and they would sleep in here. There's a neat picture, and it's somewhere. It's on one of those things here too. With Hinkle, a man for all seasons. He coached at one time here for the most of his time. He coached baseball, football, and basketball,
Yeah.
and was the AD. Here was the Island Miracle.
Okay.
Where Bobby Plump and they beat Muncie Central in the state finals. That's what prompted the movie. And the shot was taken where he hit the winning shot was right here, probably about a 25 foot right there. He hit the last shot. If Gordon Hayward would have hit that last shot, it would have been a movie probably.
Mm-hmm.
Here's our Hall of Fame wall. We started our Hall of Fame in 1992, and every year we induct 5 or 6 or 7 different people all the way down. There's a quote in this book, and it's somewhere in your locker room too, but it said, was often asked, when a guy coached 3 sports and coached that long, we always got the question, okay, Hank, we're going to put you on the spot. Who was the greatest athlete you've ever coached? He said, his answer was, you never had great athletes, you had great teams. And I think that's somewhere in your locker room too, maybe. Yeah, but you never seen anyone one personality be the best. We didn't have great players. We just had great teams.
All right.
What's up, Coach? Good. Let's go. You know where the academic center is right now?
Right. Yeah.
That was a swimming pool.
Yeah, I know.
When I was a football coach here, we used to, on football two-a-days, it was so dang on hot, we would have our guys go in the locker room, take all their stuff off, and then go in the pool and just soak, just to kind of cool down.
So there wasn't no cold tub, right?
What's that?
There wasn't a cold tub at the time.
A small one,
Okay.
that fit maybe 2 people.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we just let the whole team. And here's what it looked like. I mean, we would just
Wow.
all the guys would come in and just kind of it wasn't playing around and just kind of just soaking.
Yeah.
And then let them go there half an hour or so. Okay. But here's what it became to look like. About 15 years ago or so, it became too costly to keep up. So we decommissioned it and just let it sit. It became a storage. We put all kinds of crap in here, but now we've so obviously right now at the bottom here is the weight room.
Yeah.
This level is the academic, and then our offices are up top. We created that new floor in here to make our offices up top. Never had an elevator. And as you know, I'm not telling you anything you don't know, but we tried to keep some of the old brick. That's the old brick.
Yeah.
Some of the other brick on the Galois wall and all that. The windows over the years we bricked them in, and then during the renovation 4 years ago, we popped out those brick and brought the natural light back in. And you saw the locker room. You said the volleyball.
Yeah.
In there.
Yeah.
We had 2 national champs, not the NCAA, it was before the NCAA was invented, but in 1928, 1929, we had the honor of national champs. These were our mascots over the years, so in 1958, 1855, we started the university, and then so many years later, and so many years later, so many years later, they changed it. And you know, even when this renovation was complete, this is even obsolete now. That's not our current logo, as you know.
Right.
That's not there. We took the circle away.
Yeah, yeah.
Going forward,
What team was this right here?
this 1924, this is basketball.
Okay.
Yeah, we had 2 national champs. Now, I don't know why Hinkle's not in here, but Hinkle was an assistant coach at the time. He's in that one,
Yes,
but he's not in this one. But he was an assistant here at the time. It was in 1920. So these 2 teams did not play in here because Hinkle wasn't built until 28. And we didn't move the campus here until
Where was the campus?
the campus was on the, you're not from here, but Howe High School, which is on the, by Cecina High School, which is on the southeast part of town. So about Washington Street and Emerson, on the southeast part of the city. So not very far, you know, maybe 20-minute drive from here.
What made him come over here?
More land.
Okay.
This was a lot of, you know, they had about maybe 10 buildings on campus down there, including an administration hall, some fraternities. So they came out here. The first building that was built on this campus, Jordan Hall and Hinkle Fieldhouse. They were the first 2 buildings, and then all these other buildings came afterwards. You know what we're doing in here? We're going to spend about $2 million next off season. So this time about next year, we're going to come in here, put a whole new floor in to kind of mirror Hinkle's floor. We're going to put all new lighting in here to mirror the lighting, so when you guys, because we're going to use this a little bit more for practice than we have in the past. So we want to make sure the lighting is identical to out there. We're going to strip all the paint off the walls and bring in the natural brick. We're going to take those banners down, and behind those banners, guess what? There's windows there. You can't see it, but there's windows there. We're going to take the banners down and bring the natural light back in. And then we're going to put banners, not as big, but in between, on the brick, in between the windows. We'll put some kind of banners and signage. We're going to put padding all the way around, kind of like that, but nicer and newer. We're going to put padding around the lower level. This floor, good lighting, sound system, video capabilities. So we'll do that next off season. And we're going to put air conditioning inside here and Hinkle.
Okay. So for the summers, it
So
will
not
be
this summer, but next summer.
Fall, summer,
so for
yeah.
camps and your guys' practices, so you don't. So that's a renovation project. Okay. What else can I address?
You hit them all. Yeah, you hit them all.
Uh, 2010, 2011, the Final Four teams really put us on the map. Really spiked our admissions, enrollment, and everything. It helped every sport around here. You ask any coach, football coach, volleyball coach. Prior to that, hey, I'm here at your high school. I'm going to recruit you here, and I'm from Butler. Where's Butler? Indianapolis. Nowadays, since that 2010, I'm here to recruit you to Butler. Oh, Indianapolis, Butler basketball. So it really put us on the map. and so enrollment went up, applications went up. So it was good.
What was the enrollment back 2010?
Well, we
2011?
still, when I went to school here, I think we were about, right now, I think we advertise our undergraduates like 4,400.
Okay.
Back about 2010, it was probably about 38, 39. Now,
Okay.
obviously, we can't grow too much. It's not like we're going to,
Right.
we're landlocked. We have nowhere to build buildings, so dorms.
Mhm.
So we're 4,400 right now. We're not going to get any bigger over the next 15 years or so. You know, we may add another couple of hundred. We'll probably get to 4,700. But we can't get any bigger than that. You know, much like a Wake Forest. A Wake Forest is about our size, maybe even smaller. I mean, and they play in the ACC.
Right.
So yeah, we can't get much bigger, but the applications went up. But we know what helped out is we get a better student in here now because we have more to choose from. So we get more applicants, and those applicants are smarter.
Yeah.
So we can kind of say, okay, we're going to take the pick of the litter. We want these. So the academic side of it went up. So, all right.
Yep.
Is that good enough?
Yeah, it was